Hello friends, welcome back to the Raghu Cloud Tech channel. Uh, in this session, we will discuss like vSphere versions. Then we will discuss operating system types of operating systems and developers. And then we will see the server basics, how it looks, what is the server. Okay. So first we will see the vSphere versions. So most of the companies 6.5 used vSphere version 6.5 used for longer time. It is huge clicked in the market. So after that 6.7 they have introduced. Now that is not clicked much. So immediately they have released vSphere 7.x like update 1, update 2, update 3. So if we use vSphere 7.x, vCenter version will be 7.2, ESXi version will be 7.2. VMware VM hardware version is 16 to 19 based on update 1, update 2, update 3. VM hardware version will be changes. Okay. As of now, up to until vSphere 6.7 technical support has ended. Some companies probably still run vSphere 6.5, but it's risky and increasingly rare because of official support is over. If you want support, you have to pay the money, but it's very limited. Okay. Now, vSpace 7.x also not clicked much as they expected. There are a lot of bugs. So what they have done is immediately they have come up with vSphere 8.x with resolving that existing bugs, and they have introduced new features. Same like vSphere 8.x also update 1, update 2, update 3 they have introduced. Like vCenter, if you use 8.2, ESXi also 8.2, VM version will be 20. Okay. Latest one is in the market now. VMware vSphere Foundation 9.2. If you use 9.2, vCenter will be 9.2, ESXi will be 9.2. Then VM hardware version is 22. Okay. Now most of the companies in 8.2, there are few companies in 6.5 because that huge clicked in the market. It's user friendly. So most of the companies as of now in the vSphere 8.x. Okay, based on their requirement update 1 or update 2 or update 3. Okay. Now let's see operating system. Okay. There are multiple types of operating systems in the market. We'll see like developers who developed operating systems. Everyone knows Microsoft. They have introduced Windows operating system. It's purely GUI, graphical user interface. Okay. Again, in that operating system, that OS divided into two categories. One is client OS, second one is server OS. Windows client OS and Windows server OS. We'll see now. Windows client OS where we will use. Okay. It's a desktop operating system for users. For example, latest one Windows 11, Windows 10, Windows 8.1, 8, 7, earlier Windows XP. This one also used clicked in the market. Many years Windows XP was there. Okay. Then when it comes to Windows Server operating system, latest one is the Windows Server 2025. Earlier one 2022, 2019, 2016. I think until 2012, 12 or 2, support has been ended. If you want, you can use, but if you have any issue, there won't be any technical support. Okay. Actually, what is Microsoft operating system? Microsoft operating system OS is a software developed by Microsoft that manages the hardware and software of a computer. It provides the interface, tools, and environment for users and application to run. Okay, okay. So Windows Client OS, it supports like 1 to 5 users simultaneously, not more than that. Okay, mainly single user purpose, like single user environment purpose, we will use the Windows Client Operating System. When it comes to server OS, it supports hundreds or thousands of users simultaneously, designed for multi-user connections. Okay, client OS uses modern hardware, uh, 8 to 16 GB RAM up to, not optimized for heavy processing. When it comes to like Windows Server operating system, supports huge hardware like basic I'm telling, RAM up to 250 GB, 256 GB, multi-core CPUs, multi-NIC cards, okay, optimized for performance and stability. Okay, now like services provided in client OS, like it is used for browsing, office work, gaming, multimedia. It's like personal use purpose. When it comes to server OS, server OS provides important network services like DNS, DHCP, Active Directory, file print services, web server IIS, virtualization like Hyper-V. Okay, like purpose. Client OS designed for especially for end users, used on desktop, laptops, tablets. Okay, focus on user-friendly interface and daily task purpose. So server operating system designed for like server in networks used in data centers, enterprise level, handles network services, multi-user management, and heavy workloads. Okay. When it comes to security parts, like client OS, basic security will be there, like Defender, inbuilt firewall. Uh, if you see in a server OS, advanced security features will be there, like server hardening, role-based access control, secure policy management, and dedicated server firewall. Okay. Next, like updates and stability. If you say in a client OS, frequent features updates, focus on new UI features. If you see in a server OS, long-term stability and predictable tested updates, no unwanted features in updates on server OS. Okay. If you see in license part, for client OS, like license will be in a cheaper only for personal use. If you see in server OS, license part will be expensive, requires CALs, client access licenses. Okay, so this is about Microsoft, operating system, which is GUI, graphical user interface. We'll see now Unix, Linux operating system. Okay, what is Linux operating system? Linux is an operating system based on the Linux kernel that manages hardware, runs applications, and provides a secure environment for users and programs. Okay, like components of Linux, we'll explain in the upcoming Linux sessions. There will be like kernel, shell, file system, system libraries, user applications. So these and all upcoming session I'll explain. So in Linux operating system, it will be like CLI, command line interface. Everything in a commands. If you want to create file, it will be a command. If you want to edit file, you have to enter command. If you want to delete, if you want to rename, if you want to move, everything in a command line. So command line interface. Okay. There are popular Linux distributors in the market. Okay. We can say like flavors for Linux. RHEL, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Ubuntu, CentOS, SUSE, Fedora, Tiny Core, Debian, Linux both on OS. There are a lot of operating systems. So there are multiple flavors in a Linux operating system. Okay, like VMware Proton also is there. Okay, Kali Linux, CentOS like this. Okay, like we'll see. Like, why Linux is popular? It is free and open source, highly secure, stable and reliable, okay, customizable, excellent for programming servers and networking, and also strong community support. Okay, like where we will use Linux used for servers like web database in a cloud, networking devices like firewall, routers, SAN switches. Like in a mobile OS also, Android is based on Linux. Supercomputers most run on Linux. Okay, even embedded system also, IoT appliances, desktop computers, Ubuntu, Mint. Okay, most of the people as of now seen Microsoft operating system, GUI based and Linux operating system. It may be Red Hat Linux or Ubuntu Fedora. So these two most of the people have seen. Okay, there is one more new operating system, VMware operating system. Okay, so what he has done, when he has introduced virtualization in the market, so he wanted to design, develop an operating system. He has taken kernel from Red Hat company, okay, like core component of an operating system, and whatever virtualization thoughts he has got, so he has mixed like Red Hat kernel plus virtualization, whatever he is uh, want to implement that thoughts all. Okay, he has mixed and he has developed one operating system. For that operating system they have named it as ESX, Elastic SkyX. Okay, in versions, as I said, vSphere versions. See, first, from beginning ESX was there OS until 4.1 version. Like VMware mentioned both ESXi and ESXOS in a market website to purchase for clients. Okay, so this combination of Red Hat kernel and VMware. For that OS, they have named it as ESX, Elastic SkyX. So after clicked in the market, so VMware thought we will develop own VM kernel and virtualization futures, and our own OS will be developed and we will introduce to the market. Like that, they have thought and they have introduced operating system. For that, they have mentioned name called ESXi. Same ESX, then I they have added. VM kernel, like a core component also VMware, and virtualization. For that, they have given ESXi name. Okay. Elastic SkyX integrated, or we can call independent. So, like symbolic, they are telling independently we are coming to market. We are not taking anyone support like Red Hat kernel support. This kernel also VMware only, virtualization also VMware. Both our company product like this. Symbolically, they are telling uh, independently we are coming to the market. Okay, Elastic SkyX integrated. Okay, we'll see now ESXi OS versions. As of now, latest one is ESX9, ESXi 8.0, 7.0, 6.7, 6.5, 6.0. Okay, as I explained in starting beginning of the class, like vSphere versions, I have mentioned both ESX and ESXi. Up to 4.x ESX was there. From vSphere 5.x onwards, they have removed ESX. They have kept only VMware product OS like ESXi OS. Okay. We'll see now why this VMware came to picture in the market. So virtualization. What is exactly virtualization? Okay, virtualization is a technology that allows one physical computer or server to run multiple virtual machines at the same time. Okay, in a physical server, if you install multiple virtual machines at a time, we can run all virtual machines on a same server. Okay, each VM behaves like a separate computer with its own operating system. On a virtual machine, you may install Windows operating system or Linux operating system, any other operating system. It may be Windows or Linux, even though they are all running on the same physical hardware. Okay. So previous session I have said like hypervisor. Hypervisor is nothing but ESXi OS. What it will do is it will convert physical resource into virtual resource. So because of ESXi OS only we are able to create a virtual machine. Without ESXi OS we cannot create virtual machines on a physical server directly on physical servers. In mediator it should be ESXi OS. Okay. So a hypervisor is a special software or firmware that allows you to create and run virtual machines, that means VMs, on a physical computer or server. Any software that split the hardware resources into software resources. Okay. It sits between the hardware and the virtual machines and manages how CPU, RAM, storage, and network are shared. Okay. So simple definition, if you see like Hyper-V is a hypervisor is software that lets one physical machine run multiple operating systems at the same time. This is the simple definition of hypervisor. Okay. So these are the three operating systems in this session. So on a physical Dell Cisco server, top of that server, we will install ESXi, this VMware OS ESXi. So once you install this, then we will create a virtual machines. Top of that virtual machines, we will install based on requirement, client requirement. If they want Windows operating system, we will install server operating system. If they want client CLI, Linux operating system means we will install Linux operating system like Red Hat Linux, Ubuntu, CentOS, SUSE, Fedora, Tiny Debian. Okay. For business purpose, we will use only server operating system, not client operating system. So we will use client operating system to access the business application. Okay. For example, in home we are monitoring Flipkart, Myntra, Amazon. This is with our personal laptop, client operating system only we are accessing. To configure business application, we will use the server operating system in a real time, all the companies. We'll see server basics. Okay. So again, I have mentioned here Microsoft Windows operating system, like OS divided in two types, client and server OS. Personally used for client OS, laptop and desktops. Server OS we will use for business purpose. In real time, like servers top three position like HP servers, Dell servers, Cisco servers. Most of the 99% most of the companies are using HP, Dell, Cisco servers only. Okay. Business use will use. Okay. So see, this is assume that this is physical server. Top of this physical server, I have installed hypervisor ESX or ESXi OS. Okay. So when you purchase physical server, we will get hard disk, RAM, CPU. Okay. In a local hard disk, we will install the ESXi OS. Okay. Once you install ESXi OS on a physical server, then we will install virtual machines like virtual machine 1, virtual machines 2. So virtual machine 1, VM1, I'll install and configure SQL application. Okay. For that, client request is to install like Windows operating system. Assume that. So in VM1, I'll install Windows operating system. Then they'll configure SQL application install and configure. For VM2, SAP application required, client clearly mentioned that if I want to configure SAP application on a VM2, I want Linux operating system version 8. Okay, so we have to install Linux operating system version 8. Then hand over this VM to client or application team. What they will do is they will install SAP application, they will configure and they will test. Okay, so see here. This is the Dell server, rack servers. For real-time business purpose, we will use this kind of servers. Image you can see here. Okay. So there will be logo. If it is Dell, Dell logo will be there. See, Dell PowerEdge or 760 rack server. Okay. If you see this image, front and back panel image is there. Okay. This is front view. This is back view. This is how server looks in a real time. Okay. We will use this one for business purpose. This is very costly. So as I saw, this is less price. Normally, it will be huge cost in the market. Okay, like 760 back play panel. I'll show you. Yes, see here. There are multiple ports like power source 2 will be the slot 1 and slot 2. Don't know when these hardware components will be failure. See if one goes down from source to power supply will be there. So both at a time failure may be very rare case. So there will be a primary and secondary in a even network cable also. Say cable 1 and cable 2. If one port is down, from second port data will be transferred from port 2. Like if port 2 down, port 1. Like and there will be high availability. We can say like primary and secondary. Backup will be there for power or network, everything. Okay. So, from physical server, when you create a virtual machines, top of this physical server, we will assign memory CPU from physical server to this virtual machine. For hard disk, we have separate technology, storage technology. Upcoming class, I'll explain briefly about storage. For virtual machine hard disk, we will provide a space from external storage box. Okay, we have separate sessions for this. I'll explain brief about this storage. Okay.